And welcome to another edition here of On Deck CSR with me, Charles Prodigy Richey here, host of the Mouse Steel podcast, as we're kicking off live right now for this championship edition of we're getting ready for the Super Bowl here in just a moment here, and we're kicking off on deck right now as we are looking forward right now. And once again, you guys can follow me on social media on Twitter and Instagram at Prodigy Richey for the Mouse Steel podcast. On Twitter, it is at Mouse Steel CJR. Then, of course, you can also check me out on Instagram at Mass Steel Nation right now. We are just getting started for today's show right now. We're going to talk some NBA here in just a moment. As right now, we got the NBA and the NBA PA trying to work together. I'm trying to get an NBA restart for the All Star game, or rescheduling, I should say. Excuse me. That is going to be planned for March. What we're hearing right now, March 7th, I believe, is the date. So we'll get into that much more. Is it an unnecessary game right now for the league, considering what everyone's been through within the pandemic year right now? It was originally set for Indianapolis around this time in February, but instead they're going to be hosting the 2024 All-Star game. Plus, we also got some news right now heading in with NFL Extra Points right now. Britt Reed's son, outside linebackers coach of the Kansas City Chiefs right now. He is in the hospital. He will not be available for tomorrow's game due to a multi-car crash. We'll have details on there for that. Plus, Drew Brees right now expected to be retiring. Hear what I got to say on that too, and how they're working things out with the Saints organization right now as we look at it. As he's restructured his contract. So he should probably be expected to be hanging it up soon. And plus, we'll finish with Super Bowl 55 for the preview of the big game. Once again, I hope everyone is doing fantastic right now, trying to experiment right now with a new start time here. We're trying to make an adjustment. Nothing official yet, still bouncing us around. But anyway, we're going to be streaming live today from 12 to 1 for today's shows. We got a lot going on right now. And I hope everyone is doing fantastic right now. So let's go ahead and get into the NBA right now as we take a look at it. As we've been knowing right now, I mean, following this story right now, which is reported by NBA's ESPN, Adrian Wojnarowski right now, the NBA and NBA PA right now are currently trying to finalize a deal right now, which will be announced by next week. This was first reported on Thursday, according to a league memo shared with teams and obtained by ESPN. And the single night will encompass the Eastern Conference, Western Conference game, as well as the skills competition skills, according to the memo. So we'll take a look at that right there. But right now, I know there's been some decent amount of pushback right there. We heard LeBron James expressing his concerns right now. And we even have our very own Chicago's Casey Johnson questioning, is it really an unnecessary game? Does it need to be played at all? And to be honest, yeah, I got to say this right now. I really do feel like at the end of the day, when you see what the NBA has been able to pull off, I mean, with the bubble, and I know there's still a little bit of a concern right now with this new spread that's coming out with this virus. But at the same time, too, you look at like how all sports leagues have been handling things right now. See the NHL right now, which is kind of a little bit more in a mess with handling their situation right now. He had over 40 players earlier this week, who have been reported to get contained with COVID right now, and more than likely going to be having some teams rescheduling some games right now. And then a lot of these things too. I mean, when you look at too, just trying to get the confirmation of these official positive tests. I mean, look at Kevin Durant, for example, right now. I mean, a guy who had to get pulled before the start of a game on like just recently. He had to be pulled away, but then he was able to come back after the start of the first quarter, but then only be escorted out later on in the third quarter of a game right now. So you go for some stuff right now. It's been the second time within a month where he had to miss multiple games, but you actually just continue to see how a reminder of what this virus can do. But I will say this, back to the All-Star game, I think why not? I think it should be played. I have no problem with it. I don't think it's an unnecessary game. if anything, you got one of the brilliant minds too for the NBA PA, who has one of the best league unions ever. I mean, you got a guy like Chris Paul who's advocating to try and build awareness. I mean, not just for historically black colleges and universities, but COVID relief. So again, I mean, a lot of these guys have been putting a lot on the line for this season when we truly piece this whole thing together. Because I really do believe right now, when you look at the current state of the sports world, I mean, yeah, there's a lot to be still. We gotta like push back and pump brakes on certain things. But I don't really feel like this is all that dangerous of an unnecessary game. I mean, listen, you gotta think too. I mean, how much? I mean, all the players lost too, because you consider that like if we decide to hold off on, if they decide to hold off on this game right now, how much our players can be bickering off to the side later down the road? How much extra money they're losing out of pocket by not having this event? I mean, at the same time, don't forget too, there were some players that are adamant about starting the season back in late December around the Christmas holiday because for the teams that were in the bubble, such as teams like the Lakers, the Heat, the Nuggets, and all that, I just there was a lot, quite a decent amount of concern, pushback, how much they didn't really feel like they got enough fair time of a rest. I mean, look at the Lakers, for example. They only barely not even got like 2 months, yet the league's biggest top star, LeBron James, he's able to bite the bullet and be able to make this thing work somehow. So again, I mean, if you're able to get a, a bubble going on, I mean, those situations, obviously you're starting to have fans come back little by little in certain states. I know Atlanta just had like had a decent amount of fans. I think like around like 1,300 a couple nights ago. I know there was an incident right there with LeBron James and a lady at courtside. I think that was reported on Wednesday or Tuesday evening or Monday night. And right now, but even LeBron James says, despite all the controversy, though, it's just good to have the fans back in. So I don't see why not. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say, you ladies and gentlemen. Feel free. Let me know your thoughts. Is this an unnecessary game? Is this being pushed down people's throats right now? Again, if you guys want to follow me and tweet out to the show, you can just definitely reach out to me at Prodigy Richey or at Steel CGR on my Twitter, at Steel Nation on Instagrams. We take a look at it right now. And that's about it. That's what I real much got to say. But other than that, right now, sticking with NBA Fast Break right now, we got like a team like the Brooklyn Nets. I really feel like, I mean, they're doing like decent right now to hang around, but they still got some concerns right now. They're 14-10 right now in the Eastern Conference, which they're currently third place in. I mean, ever since acquiring a guy too, I mean, when you look at a guy like James Harden, they've been 7-4, I think, since acquiring this guy. Getting him out of an unhappy situation with the Houston Rockets, which he's created a lot of controversy in his own self. I mean, listen, I mean, the Nets right now, I mean, you look at a guy like Kyrie Irving, whose head right now wasn't sure if he wanted to commit to keep on playing or not, despite the noble things he's been doing outside to like race stuff for racial awareness and everything doing in the communities. I mean, James Harden, they've been 7-4, but the interesting thing is too, without a guy like Kyrie Irving in the lineup, they're doing more better without him. I mean, 6-3, and more of this has been a lot to do with before they had the acquisition of a guy like James Harden. So right now, I mean, you gotta start to really wonder, do the Nets got that much of a trio going on right now? Do they got a lot cooking in the tank right now where they could really sell off the fans, where they could be a real legitimate player in this season right now? I mean, there's been a lot of like chemistry issues. I would like to think this team right now is just finding ways to grow up and just be come together as a group. But only time will tell right now. But I gotta tell you right now, I think one team you could definitely make a huge argument for. I mean, you gotta look at the 76ers right now. I mean, with Doc Rivers, as much as he fell on his face and fell flat on his face in the playoffs, I mean, for his coaching career, I think he's definitely got something brewing with the Philadelphia 76ers right now. This is a team right now who's got a little bit of nastiness right now. I mean, they got like the second best record in the NBA, first in the Eastern Conference right now. Still got the Bucks right now to like not too far off right there, who's 14-8 right there. I mean, Giannis Antetokounmpo right now, who's still the reigning league MVP. Can he be able to muscle his team and finally get to that next stage, championship level? I mean, it's been a lot of people waiting on this. I really do feel like right now, because when you look at the situation currently with the Nets, I mean, check this out too. I mean, with Kevin Durant, because remember, the NBA has got midseason breaks set for March 5th through the 10th, which would be like the week of the proposed All-Star game being rescheduled. Sources were telling ESPN. The NBA has made the All-Star mandatory for players in the past, but games during much of the pandemic, including the Orlando restart and this year's current regular season, have included opt-out clauses. That's believed to be part of discussions around the All-Star game too, sources said. But right now, I mean, you look at, I mean, with Kevin Durant, like I said, before Durant left the court for the final time during the third quarter, he was sitting on the bench while officials review the play in which he had picked up his fifth foul of the evening. Foul was overturned, but Durant never checked in. And you got a guy like James Harden commenting on this following the game, saying, I don't understand the whole thing where he couldn't play. Then he came on the court, then he took him back. Nets guard James Harden said, there's a lot going on. There's too much going on. It's kind of overwhelming. We're in the midst of a tough game. These games are going to add up, especially we're talking about playoff seeding to catch rhythm. I would have to think to agree on that for right now. I definitely do side with that. That is the raw emotion. I mean, when you could see right now, I mean, it's one thing to keep these guys safe, but be consistent with the testing right now, making sure that we got the legitimate traces, who is carrying what. And, you know, the NBA does it a lot better than NBA right now. And I got to tell you, but aside from that, right now, you look at like in the West right now, the defending champions, the LA Lakers right now, for the most time being right now. I mean, they stumbled a little bit. I mean, when you look at it, I mean, going in everything right now, they're impressively 12-2 on the road. Surprisingly, right now, their home record is a little bit struggling as they're 5-4. But at the end of the day, too, I mean, you look at everything they've been able to do. I mean, they're 2-1 without Anthony Davis right now. And then with him, 15-5. So you got a team that's clicking right here. I will say this, the only parts where I do pause a little bit, where I get a little concerned, is where he had losses to teams like the Philadelphia 76ers in Philadelphia, then on the road against Detroit right there too. And Detroit right now is at the bottom of the league. They're a bottom feeder team. The Lakers lost that game to the Detroit Pistons by 15 points. So, I mean, you look at everything right there. I mean, what they've been able to handle to do. They took care of the Denver Nuggets just recently by a 21-point trouncing right there, hosting them. That was their first home game after going on a 7-game road trip. And in that road trip, they were able to go 5-2 at that point, and for the most part. So that's where we are right now. We're talking some basketball right now, just getting started. What do you guys speak up of the shakeup of the league right now? Again, is the NBA All-Star an unnecessary event right now? Do you feel like it's being forced down people's throats at this point? We'd love to hear from you in a moment. Looks like I'm going to be doing a solo act once again, or maybe going forward for the near future, but we'll find out in time what will happen. We're going to get ready to go ahead and hit a quick break right now. But left you like to hear, we're going to continue to get into more stuff. We'll get back on this a little bit. But coming up next, it'll be some NFL extra points right now, some stuff around the league news right now, and stuff you need to know about heading into the big game. And plus, we'll finish off with a Hall of Fame wrap-up. You're watching and listening to On Deck here with me, Charles the Prodigy Richey, on CSR.
He's got it! That's a winner!